So g of f of 2, and again, if we connect this to what we were doing at the beginning, it means you could draw like two little machines, like that person had in their garage. And it's going to go into f first, and whatever answer comes out goes into g. That's what g of f of 2 says. First, the number 2 is going to go into f. And according to our chart, what happens when you plug 2 into f? Out would come 0. And then the 0 would go into g. And if you look at this chart, if you plugged in 0 into g, out would come 1. This is a visual of what we were doing at the beginning, showing that something goes into one machine or one function, an answer comes out which immediately goes into the other function, and we get an answer. Now, you're not going to draw little machines all the time, okay? Probably this is the way that you're going to do this work. You're going to say, I can figure out f of 2 from this chart. F of 2 is 0, so now I can replace the f of 2 with 0. And now I have g of 0, so I go to my chart for g, and if I plugged in 0, I would get 1. So this is how we could show that same work just with algebra. But the idea is your x value is 2. It's going into f first. Whatever comes out, the y value for f immediately becomes the x value that goes into g. And you figure it out that way. So here we have g of 2. So we have two g machines right next to each other. If you plug 2 into g, out would come -1. And if you plug -1 into g, out would come a 2. And they don't even have, like this is just with two machines lined up. You could, like I could get you to do this question. G of 2. What's it equal to? We already figured out that g of 2 was 2 again. So we already know this part. That's 2 again. And then if you have g of 2 again, that'd be 2 again. And then you have g of 2 again. This whole thing's going to equal 2 again. I should really make one like that, just like pages and pages, and you just have to. No. But you could have that, like this one. This one's nice because it alternates back and forth, right? But you could pick other numbers where it keeps changing, and you have to keep figuring out what's going to happen, even if it happens more than once. All right, questions for practice on this. Number 4, and take the last 3 minutes to get that done.